Well, in the 1980s, I designed, with a group of teachers, the first adventure game for children, educational, with pictures. It was the time when they had white words on a black screen, and myself and a group of teachers said, children are really motivated to use these games, but the story is rubbish. So we decided to be the Shakespeares of software, and it was an international bestseller. And we also did a newsroom simulation, which was actually about using the internet for journalistic research. And it was, we thought this would not happen for about 20 years. So when it happened in 3 years, we were rather surprised. Oh, I think it's a revolution. I think it's a democratic revolution. I actually think it's a political revolution which gives the tools of publication to many more people without the gatekeepers of the publisher. But there are also very big responsibilities in this, and of course big dangers, because anybody can publish. And I feel that our responsibility in schools is not to lock the system down, but actually to help young people to understand how to use it responsibly. I've been invited to be involved because of my long experience with teaching teachers about digital technologies. But we made many mistakes about this, and I'm glad to say that the Argentinians are avoiding the worst of our mistakes. That's in England, but I've also worked now in about 20 countries with different governments. And I've seen wonderful work being done, but also people who are not willing to learn from the experience of others. I think the advantages for developing countries is that more people feel a sense of ownership. And I cannot say, you'll know about the riots in England, much of this is caused by no sense of ownership. And I think one of the things that worries me most across the world is the way that people are assessed, because it depends on reading and writing. And only 20% of any population are really good at reading and writing, and they're in teaching and they're in the universities, and it's a kind of mafia. And what I would like to see is really serious challenge to traditional assessment. We have a program called iCatalyst in MirandaNet, and in this we encourage teachers and children to produce learning outcomes which are not necessarily the traditional written essay. It can be video, it can be mind mapping, concept mapping, it can be all different kinds of graphic collage. And I think it's very important because my background is teaching literature. And children are still learning a disproportionate amount of literature analysis and not enough analysis of the media. Where does the information come from? Who wrote it? There's not enough of this, and many young people believe that everything on the web, on the internet, is true. And this is not the case. I think there is always a balance between the right to digital literacy and the difficulties of digital safety. And my biggest fear would be that the people responsible for digital safety will be too strong and will take away the democratic right to have access to information. Argentina is not that kind of country. I'm very pleased with the balance here, and I'm very pleased that the government is not only thinking about the hardware, but they are thinking about the socio-cultural process. But there are many countries where it's just as easy to use digital technologies for repression as it is for freedom.